So I mean, we just had a hilarious boys in bed chat,
We did.
but it won't be a boys in bed chat if we don't tell our dating fail stories.
We gotta date some fails.
You've got to. What was the worst date experience you've ever had? I mean, there's so many for me, but I mean, what is the worst moment?
So 2 come to mind for me.
Mm.
So the one is, I was living with like the ultimate hype girl of all time. And I'd started chatting to this guy, and I was like, the chats were really off the charts. Like,
See, that's the problem with online dating and chats. Like, firstly, it's a stranger. Not to go on a tangent, but it's a
Yes.
stranger. Now you're like thinking, oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, and she was like, oh my gosh, I hear wedding bells.
Mm.
This is the best. You guys are so cute, etc., etc.
Is this
So,
me?
no,
Okay,
no,
okay.
it was my housemate at
Okay,
the time.
fine.
And so I was really excited for this date. Anyway, we go to my favorite first date spot, Bodega. We know this.
Oh, wow, yes.
And we're having dinner. It's going, I would say it's going okay. Like, it wasn't blow me out the water situation.
Mm.
But I would say this actually also qualifies as a date fail.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Anyway, so we're having dinner, and his phone rings. And he answers the phone. He's like, yeah, I'm going to be there. No, I'll be there shortly. So I'm like, oh my God, classic. He's trying to get out of this date. Like,
Yes.
how insane. Like, I can't believe he's literally planned an emergency call. Puts down the phone,
Oh.
and he goes, oh, sorry, that was my ex-wife. She's stranded at the waterfront. And I was like, oh shit, like, I'm so sorry. He's like, but I'm not going to go fetch her. And I was like,
But was it truly ex-wife, or maybe just like separated with this irritating wife? You know what I mean?
yeah, as far as I know, it was ex-wife. Also, like, small town vibes.
Oh my God, small towns are awful.
Got married, then late in life decided that they'd grown apart, but obviously, like, in this very codependent situation. And he was like, yeah, her battery's died, so she can't get an Uber. I'm like, can you get an Uber?
She phoned him.
Yeah, she phoned him. But the worst part of that was the fact that he said, I'm coming.
Yes.
Immediately put down the phone, and I was like, I'm not actually going to go.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, what, like, bag of shit am I having dinner with?
Oh my God. And how far during dinner was that? Like, did you have to...
I would say it was like halfway. Like, we were getting into the ramen.
Getting into the ramen.
And she must have phoned us like another 3 times, being like, where are you? Like, please come fetch me. Like, I don't know what to do. And he was like, I'll be there now. And then every time I was like, I'm not going.
So you would pick up the phone still every single time?
Yeah.
And obviously you only saw him once, hey?
Yeah. And then, so this was actually the basis for why I've now got dating rules in place.
Yes.
Because after that date, he had been given my number in the talking phase before we had met. And then post-date, followed up, like, every day, being like, hey, that was such a good date.
Yeah. Good, yeah.
That was, the cats are going for it, for those who can't see.
Fighting, yeah.
So he was like, hey, I had such a cool dinner with you. Like, we really connected so well. When we're going on our next date.
And what do you do? Do you say to him, or do you ghost?
So in this situation, I did ghost.
Okay.
Just because I was so, like, put off by his behavior. I was like, it doesn't even deserve, like, a civil response.
Okay.
I did feel really bad about it, though. And that is why, post that situation, I made the call that until I meet someone in person, I will not give them my number until the end of the first
100%.
date.
Okay.
Because that was the proof to me that, like, you can't be convinced about someone in the talking phase. You have to meet them, and then, like, because if I'd gone into that date without giving him my number and met him, I would never have given him my number, and not be in a position where I'd need to ghost someone. So that's the first one. The second one was when I went on a date with a guy who came to the date and was fine up until that point, and then on the night of said, oh no, he's decided he didn't want to Uber. He's decided he's driving, so he's not going to drink. But like, I'm more than welcome to drink.
Yeah.
So like, I just clapped the margies.
It's always a good idea.
Always such a good idea. And then he offered to give me a lift home.
Oh.
And he had like a bit of a skadonkey car, which is fine. Like we have other expenses to cover.
Yeah.
The car's not important.
As long as it's clean.
It was.
Okay.
Actually, now that I don't know, so many margaritas down. And then, so I was kind of like, just like, oh, you know, do you like cars, or like, what is your, like, if you were to get a new car, like, what car would you get? And he was like, I'm not really that into cars, but I have a collection of guns that I want.
That I want. He doesn't have it yet.
No, I think he's probably got like one or two of them, but he's got like a bucket list of guns.
Are you anti-guns?
I don't think I can sleep in a bed with someone that I know has a gun. Sorry, did we not all learn a valid lesson from
don't go
Reaper?
there. No, I was waiting. Don't go there. Interesting, but I mean, obviously you didn't grow up in a household where there was like a safe and hunting rifles, whatever's in there.
No,
okay.
no. Erica had a gun.
Okay,
but
you're thinking more like gangster in the bedside table vibe.
Well, that's when you say you want a collection of guns. I believe that they're everywhere. Like there's just guns.
Sure. That's your
yeah. Sure. There's guns everywhere. Like
open up the stock drawer, guns next to the spices, guns. Okay, cool, big city.
Trying to make a cup of coffee, gun falls off.
Exactly, it's so irritating. Yeah. You have to wash laundry, gun ammo just comes out of the washing machine. I get it. It is inconvenient when it goes like that. Sure.
So that was gun guy, and those two situations just put me off dating for quite a while. I think maybe like a week or two.
Oh man, what would we be without them? But I also had a dating fail. I went on a date and I was really it was the last time I used Tinder.
Okay.
And I think it was fresh out of 2020.
Okay.
And there was this guy on there, and he looked and sounded obviously amazing on Tinder. And we had a nice banter also going. This is the thing I hate about online dating, is that banter with this fucking stranger essentially. And good vibes, really good vibes, healthy, good vibes. I think this was I don't know if you were here, but I think it was a little bit after I did cleanse for tens, a little bit, I think. I don't know.
The first time or the second time?
Maybe the first time. I don't remember now.
Okay.
I don't know if we were close friends, but then I went on to this day and I walked around the corner and there was this man on the other side of the street hiding behind a car. So first to say, this oak was not slimline built, but he was well built, normal, dad bod, chilled, no issue, normal built. And there's this man hiding behind a car on the other side of the street. And then all of a sudden, I kind of do a double take. And also because, let's say the coffee date was at 10, he messaged me 20 to 10 saying, I'm here.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, cool. So first you would think this person would then get a table for us. So I walk around the corner and this oak is outside hiding behind a car watching me arrive at 10 o'clock on time. Not getting us a table at all.
Just hiding behind the car.
Yeah, because he's like watching. I think he was thinking I was going to catfish him or like show up and not look what I looked like. I think that's catfishing. But as he came around the car, was it not Dick Frick? Triple his size. I'm saying like waddle, could barely move, massive. I have no problem with the extra couple of kilos because God knows I have them. But like this, like his t-shirt didn't cover his whole stomach, like the little mochi hang. Like you could see it was like inches away of saying peekaboo. And he came around and he was like watching as if I'm in a catfish him, but he's the guy, like he didn't not at all what he looked like in his photos.
Wild.
So then he came over and I thought to myself, you know what, let me not be that person. We've all been there.
Right.
Say hello, we go in for the coffee date. And obviously everyone knows I exist of two things, coffee and water. That's all I drink. Okay, that's all I drink.
Yeah.
Sit at the table, we have a bit of a chat. And firstly, also, there was a communion table. We had to sit kind of next to each other, which I had no problem with because, like, whatever, just go with it, you know? He's like, are we going to sit here? Are we going to sit here? He, like, freaked out visually. Like, really, I was like, yo, sit. Like, frick, sit. So we sat down, and he took out his wallet, and on his wallet also was his family crest that is embroidered on there. It was a bit odd. But then we order a coffee, and he orders a big bottle of still water for the table. He says, can I get a big bottle of still water?
Okay.
So obviously the waitress comes and she brings 2 glasses with her.
Yeah.
One for each person.
Yeah.
She puts my glass down in front of me. He picks it up and he sends it back. Because it's like he ordered the water for himself. And it was one of those small little, almost like shot water glasses.
Yes.
So the amount of water I would have gotten out of the liter he got was fuck all.
Crikey Moses.
And I remember I was so thirsty at that point in time. And this glass just like, it went back. I was like, where are you going? I'm really thirsty. It would be so nice to have a good little glass of water, sir, ma'am, please. Yeah, truly. So I sat there and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And and the waitress also was like a bit like, opened the water and he had his water and he wanted to order lunch and I was like, oh, so sorry, no. And the waitress came by twice to offer, and I think he went to the loo and she came back again. I said to her, honey, if you offer lunch to us one more time, had you not see what just went down with the water? I'm wrapping this up and I'm leaving. Let's just all understand.
Yes.
And then at one stage he lost his flip-flop underneath the table and he started to convulse like a fish trying, I lost my shoe. Like he was, and it was hectic. After a while I was so irritated. I was just sitting with my hand in my head like this. I was like, what are we doing here? Because you're lying about so many things. Like, as he was telling his story also, it turns out he lives in a rondavel on someone else's property. He said to me he lives on his property. He lives in a rondavel. Do you know what? A rondavel is round also. Like, how do I style that? And also, what is the growth? He said he wants to build a second layer. He wants to turn it into a duplex. That was his life goal.
Okay. A little 2-story rondavel.
Yeah, just like this.
It's the biggest rondavel I've ever seen.
Also, isn't it like that where you store the corn, like silo? That's a silo essentially of this building. And then secondly, also, I'll never forget this. I asked him, what does he do on a weekend? And then he basically wanted to tell me he watches F1, but he said Formula 1. And I'll never forget that, the way he expressed it. And I literally sat there. I was like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? I need to get out. And then he says to me, and he was so nervous. I remember his upper lip was so sweaty. Like, there's ripples of sweat. I was like, shame, I'll remain calm for this one, because obviously I have the opportunity to freak out because this oak is like shaking.
Right.
And then
it was probably quite a big deal for him to leave the house.
Most likely, but so you mean his rondavel, his hut, to leave his hut. And then he says to me, he feels so bad because he picked up all this weight and go over it. And literally, I was so finished by that time. I said to him, we all did, but we all made a plan. Like, I was finished. This didn't put him off, eh? Got home, he was chatting away. And I don't ghost, I kind of say, thank you so much for this, but this is, and then, I still said, wish you well, Foko. That man was like, Formula 1 was obviously on Dream Shattered. So that was the one that I was just like, and I didn't go on a date after that for like years and years. And then another date I went on with, which is quite hilarious, because the main waiter / host, he was not having any of the bad manners at the table, because went on this date, and then the guy he would call the waiter, waitress, whatever, and he would order first. Like, he wouldn't, like, even if I go with my friends and I call the waiter, I would always be like, do you want anything else? He was just putting his order and he would be like, thanks, and not ask if I wanted anything or anything else. And I think the host was just not having it. Like, such a gentleman, actually. And he would, I think the second time it happened, he would walk to the table and he'd be like, sir. And then he would turn to me. He would pause the guy and he would turn to me asking what I want.
I feel like your face must have been saying a lot.
I don't know. I think my Botox was working overtime that day, because I was just like, what the fuck is happening? And then he asked, whatever. Then I ordered lunch. We had something to eat. And as the food came, this guy immediately said, that's mine, as in to put it down in front of him. And this host was just like, we serve ladies first. And he puts the food on in front of me, and I looked at him, and I think we clocked a little bit shit, this is not going well. We eat our lunch, and obviously we're chatting. This oak is digging in, and he finished before me. And I was just like, and also while I was finishing before me, he calls the waiters over to come clear.
That was exactly what I was going to say. I was like, all good and well that he finishes first, as long as the plate remains until you finish.
No. He like stopped the conversation. He called the waiter over. He wanted everything clear, and he wanted another drink, obviously. So she literally came to the table, cool if you want to order another drink. Again, he orders something, doesn't check if I want anything. My water is finished. Like, I'm empty on my side, 110% visually.
We're not asking for much.
No. Listen, this is like, if I go out with a coffee with you,
Yes.
I'd check, do you want anything? I'm going to order
Yes,
another coffee,
yes.
whatever. So this is not,
It's not, the standards are not high.
no, the standards are high,
No,
but
no,
it's
but
just
in
like
this,
common
like,
decency.
yeah, for like, it doesn't take much to not land on the date
basics.
fails list.
And then, what else? Oh, so then he ordered, and then she did a double take, and then he said, oh, but can you not clear this for me? And like, she was you could see she was visibly, because she looked at me and I was literally still chewing, and she cleared it for him. I mean, what are you going to do? She like, she walked away, and like, he called her back for it. She cleared it for him. She made everything neat and nice for him there. And also, it's not like the table was small, just for anyone that's asked. We had a sufficient amount of space. It was fine. Did he not then continue to blow his nose, because he was sick? And when I'm saying sick, in the height of sinuses. So please just envision the snottiest blowing of nose. That napkin also was holding on for its dear fucking life. While I was eating. Like, the food was in my mouth. And not that he didn't turn away from the table. He didn't say, listen, I'm so sorry, but I have to get up at this very moment. Going to the loo to do this. He sat at the table, turned to me. I was on the opposite side of the table. Blew his fucking nose. And this was, I literally, I remember sitting there and I was looking at my little butternut salad and my quiche, and I was just like, cool. This is happening to me right now. Because I mean, how do you go on for me? Because it was just, and it also was loud, and it was nauseating, to be honest. Like, the sound of that. Yeah, and then I think he ordered something else again, and the host would come and be like, ma'am, would you like to order? Like, if he would call anyone over, he would not even make eye contact with this guy.
Wow.
It was and then I just, after a while, I gave up and I said to him, thank you so much, thank you, whatever the case may be.
Who paid the bill?
So he wanted to pay, and I was not going to have that.
Yeah,
it was a 50-50. Thank you so much. For me, if you want to pay for me, it's an honor, because that means I'm leaning into this. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, I'm happy to pay for myself. I'm not the girl that expects a free drink or a free meal or like whatever the case may be. But for me, if you want me to lean in and allow you to pay for me, then there's work that I would have gotten to that.
Yeah.
You're not just gonna get a free ride and be like, oh, but I paid for you, or like, oh, let's check. No, it's an honor to pay for me. If you, meaning I would then let my guard down and lean in.
Right.
That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah.
But no, that day I very much paid for myself. Thank you very much.
Gosh, cracky Moses.
Basic things here, hey?
It's basic.
So, I mean, that's a tip point. We can actually have 60 hours of date fails between the two of us. I think you would carry the game because you have so many good stories. But
I think this is a really good little foreshadowing of
foreplay. It's foreplay
for our next episode that's going to come out next week.
How exciting.
So that's an update. We're going to weekly now.
We're going to, God, we're hoping if everyone can understand what we had to do to get this one up and running. Basically, to sleep together for this. First of all, sleeping my way to the top.
Listen, if this is the mattress we're doing it in, I'm gung ho. Let's go.
Should I ask rent? Ask rent for this little section.
Can we get Sealy Posturepedic to sponsor us?
I don't know if this is a Sealy. Is it a Sealy?
We'll check it.
Gosh, imagine.
We're gonna tag them.
If you
Best
guys,
mattress in the world.
Literally, if you guys see us recording at Tafelberg Furnitures and all the mattresses, then you know. Come say hi. But that's our dating fails, and if anyone else has a dating fail story, I'd fucking love to hear it.
Oh my God, please,
you must have some.
Through. We'd love to read some dating fail emails. Oh my God, that would be a fun segment.
That would be so cool. So please
email us.
Help us with content.
likewhyusgirls@gmail.com.
And look at you.
I know.
Or leave a comment. DM. Find us, for fuck's sake. It's not that hard.
All right. Lovely stuff.
I love how the cats are getting back into bed and we have to get up now.
I know, it's depressing.
We have to say that we've achieved so much from like 5 a.m. in the morning.
It's quite amazing. It's amazing.
We're gonna fail by 3. But thank you. Thank you for your fails.
Thank you for your fails. Bye.